Alright, how's it going everybody? My name is Alex and I like to make videos and I like cars, so I like to put them both together, and that's kind of where we're going from here. So I figured I really wanted to get back into making YouTube videos, but I wasn't really sure on what direction I should go. So I figured why not make a really easy video and just go over my weekend. And my weekend was at Cam's Acres Race Site, which is a little racetrack out in Coalgate, Oklahoma. It's a pretty new track. It's not super old. I think it's like 4 years old, maybe max. And it's pretty well paved. It has a bunch of different layouts that you can take, a little bit of elevation change. It's got this big sweeper on it that's pretty fun, that can get a little dicey depending on which direction you're going. You'll see that in the video. Other than that, super fun track. Doug and his family are awesome people and they always host awesome events. This track is literally like in his backyard, so that's awesome in itself. Getting past the track and kind of into my car and my friend's cars, two people I went driving primarily with this weekend would be Jack Davis and Eric Tate. They both drive very, very similar cars to one another. They're both E46s, they're both 4 doors, both pre-LCI, both pretty much the exact same mods, like intake exhaust tunes by like the same person, chaos calibrations. They got angle kit, not angle kits, but angle adapter, hydros, bucket seats, like the super basic drift mods, right? Welded diffs, like super basic, and cars are super similar, so that's like super cool. Then there's my car, kind of like the black sheep, obviously, and it's my big bright banana of a Genesis Coupe, which it's a 3.8 R spec BK1, so it's a 2012. Super basic on the mods, like again, BC Racing coilovers. It has a full ISR Pro Racing suspension kit, but the front control arms, because those kind of just suck, they fatigue, they crack. Mine broke after 2 events and I didn't run off course or hit anything, like ridiculous. ISR, you guys gonna fix that like for real, because it's a problem and that's like definitely not okay. But aside from that, I mean, the car's got an intake exhaust, it's gutted, and I got a carbon bucket seat. So like that's pretty much it. And my handbrake is stock with an extension, and my handbrake cable is like on its last leg. I had to tighten it a bunch this weekend, and you'll see in the video I'm having to pull that thing up really high just to get the rear to lock up, and it was like not working. But aside from that, I think we can pretty much get right into this. And my first run, I'm gonna put it on the headphones so I can hear, but my first run is a lead run, and we'll just kind of go over what I'm doing in the car and kind of what I think of what's going on. I'm not gonna be like super scientific about what's going on. I'm just gonna kind of explain what I think I'm seeing and what I think is going on. Also, some backstory. I don't have a crazy amount of experience drifting. I've only been doing it for like a year now, I guess. On track, I've been driving and drifting per se for a long time, but on track for a year. So here you go, 1, 2, second gear track only. I don't go to third here. Probably could go to third downshift, but I just don't. So car understeered a little bit on initiation. I probably could have flicked in a little bit harder and that probably wouldn't have happened. So again, a little bit of handbrake check right here to get the car to rotate. That LSD sometimes doesn't want to stay completely locked. Getting a little bit of understeer, then you see I had to kind of pull the car in a little bit, steer the front end a little bit. That spot's a little tricky because it's kind of tight. Kind of have to straighten out my car at least. I think my friends kind of do too, but I don't really remember. That's pretty much it for that layout. So that layout isn't, I wouldn't say the best layout for tandems, but it's pretty fun, and there's a couple of spots that you can dive for sure. So again, you kind of see I understeered a little bit there, had to kind of turn the wheel in. I'm running like 50 PSI in the front tires. My friends all say I need to go down, and I probably should have for this event because my front tires like kind of shot, like they're pretty much on their deathbed. And I think it's gonna be the last time I run them, but they worked for the most part. I got around it. So I thought this was a pretty decent dive in right here. On the GoPro, it does not look close at all. In person, I feel like I was like on him, but obviously I could have been closer because there's plenty of room. In this case, we kind of give each other space when we're running 3 cars, just because again, this track isn't friendly for tandem in my opinion, at least for 3 cars. You can do it in some areas, but it's just not the most ideal. And here you can see I tried to get my car to rotate with them, but that just was not happening. Their cars rotate so much faster than mine due to their shorter wheelbase. So that was a pretty good dive in right there. I feel like I was pretty close. Kind of walked the car though. So here I'm chasing Jack. I feel like I was on his freaking bumper, but like his non-existent bumper, but I was not. Still had some space. This is, I feel like, pretty good here. Following his line pretty well. Kind of check up here. Over rotated the car because I probably should have slowed down a little bit more there, and probably would have stayed closer. I got pretty close there, so I gained some ground there. Pretty good. You kind of have to drop out there because that's a very shallow part. You can kind of gain back in here. So right here, you kind of hear the car like, it's because like I kind of started to slip the clutch and bring the gas up, so that way whenever I rotated the car, I could, with the right timing, so essentially like we were going like this, and when I rotated, I could hit the clutch and jump in onto the side of his door. So now again here, we're just doing another run where I'm pretty much falling back behind these guys, just kind of letting them do their thing, especially because their cars are a lot more similar. That was close. Jack spun out right there, and I'm glad I had my distance because I was coming in hot. And that was, yeah, kind of scary. Could have been bad. Of course, I got this bug in here now, bugging me a bunch. Doing what they do, right? So here again, I think I'm going to chase Jack. He kind of took off on me. I think it's kind of like a safety reason why he was doing that, just so that way we had a little bit of distance in between us on the super, just because it was kind of the highest speed section of the track. Kind of understeered there. Probably could have pulled the handbrake to keep the car rotating a little bit. Maybe I was on the handbrake, I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of hard to see in these clips because my GoPro isn't low enough. But the second day I fixed that. Thought that was pretty good. Again, that spot is just kind of one of those spots, it's kind of easy to get on. You'll notice in the clips that there's certain spots where you can get on the car, and then other spots where it's just kind of not really possible on this track. I'm sure better drivers could obviously do it. I'm not the best driver. I will, like, obviously, you can see that, but I think that this track just doesn't lend itself well for some tandeming in some areas. So Eric and Jack are ripping right now. These two cars are very, very similar. Eric's insane. I don't know how he was that close in that area. Eric's a very good driver, so is Jack, obviously. Here I think I'm chasing Eric now. So obviously 1, 2. Eric always gets out me on the 2 shift just because I always have to kind of baby the 2 shift because the transmission in Genesis isn't the greatest. And it's pretty good transmission. It's just that 1 to 2. If you're not, you know, slow about it, it don't like it. It's pretty good dive in right there, I feel like. Again, giving him some space here. It's kind of one of those spots where I don't feel comfortable being super clear there. But then again, here's where you can kind of start really putting on the start trying to really put the power down, clutch kicking in there, trying to get the car to lurch forward and jump. I keep bobbing my head to try to mimic what I'm talking about, but he gets the car to kind of like do this, you know what I mean? You start ripping. You know, if you've drifted before, you know what I'm talking about. You dump the clutch mid corner and it just freaking yeets. especially if you got some grip in the car. Again, I'm understanding going into the zone. I kind of started floating off track a little bit here. I feel really bad in this situation. Next time I just go off track because of this situation. My buddy behind me, Jack, he had to slam on his brakes, and in that case, Eric had to slam on his brakes, and it caused Eric to end up in an opposite drift actually. And he almost took Jack's freaking rear end out, and he ended up like doing a 360 off the track or something like that. It was apparently pretty insane from Jack's rearview mirror. I was obviously not paying attention to any of that. I was on my way to finishing my lap. So here Jack kind of got out on me just because we were in the gravel. Or because I was in the gravel per se. So this is kind of just a run where I'm just trying to kind of per se play catch up. But Jack's also not giving me the opportunity to play catch up because he's kind of taking these tight lines. He got out really wide there, which is good. And you kind of see they have, Jack and Eric both kind of have issues getting all the way out to that part because they have to reinitiate because of their power. I just got distracted, I guess. Just watching there for a little bit. I feel like that was a pretty good run with Eric right there. Might want to go back and watch that one. Oh, understeered right there. Probably wasn't going fast enough. Held the handbrake and the left foot brake a little bit too much. Front end probably just gripped up. Yeah, that was like one of those points the handbrake just didn't do its thing. I feel like I was pulling it up a bunch at this point. This was before I tightened it again, and it just wasn't doing nothing. The car actually felt like should have rotated there when I pulled the handbrake, but it didn't do anything. I think I was kind of noticing that at this point. Eric dropping tire, and then Jack going off. Jack was kind of, tires were boop boop, none. So here goes another lead for me. I think this is a different layout, so this will be second day. Going for that freaking thing. I barely missed it. I think I probably hit it with my rear bumper, but I didn't hit it with my tire. This is so annoying. That pumpkin was gonna take it out. Jack ends up taking it out in this next round. I think like I was doing better this day. I absolutely walked my friends. They said had to air the pressure back up. I think I started off at like 12 psi. I was just out there freaking boogieing. Jack goes ahead and destroys that pumpkin I was wanting to get. I was online that time to do it, obviously, because I was following his. But I really wanted to get it myself that first run, but I missed it. This day, I feel like I was driving a lot better. If you see in the runs, they're just a lot cleaner, a lot more proximity. But this layout also lends for that. It's a much better layout for proximity. You can actually get in on your friend's door and actually have some good driving. guess we took a little bit to do that switch. Just kind of far away at this point, not really much going on. Kind of driving. Tire's done. You hear it. If you actually notice in this run, I'm actually gonna go back here. Start this run from the beginning. Alright, so right here. See how loose the car looks? You can kind of see I'm floating out to these zones just so much more. I'm not using the handbrake a lot. I use it once here, kind of check the car out, just trying to make sure I'm getting there, and then the tire's done right there. You hear the tire D-lamp popping away. I'm going right here, and at this point I know I'm going off track, so I steer straight, so whenever I go off track I can just go straight. No big deal. Go straight off track, I turn, nothing's gonna happen, we're good. And that also, again, I decided to just go off track that time instead of trying to save it, because one, I'm almost caused a bad accident between my friends, so I learned from my mistake. Other than that, that was pretty much it. Sorry I got a little quiet at the end there. There just kind of wasn't very much going on, and I just kind of got like distracted watching them. Hopefully you did too. And that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna throw a couple more runs in here that I don't think were in here, and it was a lead and a chase that I had with Eric that was actually really, really good. It was like one of my best lead runs of the whole weekend and my best chase run of the whole weekend, and it was like back to back. So it was like we were in a battle almost. Like, cause me and Eric, we're very competitive when we get against each other. I would say it's like when we go, it's like, okay, we're willing to hit each other's cars. We haven't yet, but we're willing to do it, so we push ourselves pretty hard. We don't want to hit each other, but we're willing to. So we'll go out there, we will push each other pretty hard and go for it, you know what I mean? So we'll go ahead and check out these runs. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of talking. Sorry I got a little quiet there at the end. I just started watching myself drive, and I was just enjoying what was going on. So yeah, have a good one. Take it easy.